Welcome to British Focus, where we dive into the latest political spectacles with sharp analysis and a touch of dry wit. Today, we present to you a scene that perfectly encapsulates the state of our so-called leadership. A chaotic exchange where our ruling class fishwives clash with their beleaguered husbands, each desperate for the last word as if it were the final call at the local pub. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the caliber of debate that governs our nation. Do we deserve better? Absolutely. But here we are, watching the same tired script play out once again. In today's video, we'll break down this heated moment, react to the absurdity, and expose the glaring contradictions. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to British Focus to stay updated on the latest political drama. Now, have a watch of this clip and let us know. Do you think this is the leadership Britain needs?
A totally different thing between having a negotiation with somebody and an outcome which basically surrenders sovereignty and hands over billions and billions of pounds of taxpayers' money.
Oh, God,
all right, let's go. Lucy,
let's say 9 billion divided by 100. Do your maths.
£100 million a year,
yeah. Not hundreds and hundreds, which is what you just said. Which hundreds and hundreds. You totally exaggerate everything on the baseless
talk over each other because
come on this programme with baseless facts. You don't know about. You're not serious. Your party are not serious about government. We're trying to protect. We are trying to protect our national interests. We are trying to protect a military base that is under threat, which you know it is, which is why you started. You're not serious about government at all. You're just now one bath of opposition, coming on programmes, being baseless facts, shouting over people because you've got nothing to say and you're not serious. Get some security briefing and then you might know what's going on.
I'll see who's shouting over people. I think if people are talking about hundreds of millions of pounds a year over the 99 years, front-loaded,
but they're not.
What is that?
But they're not talking about.
That's literally what has been agreed by government.
And actually, Lucy, it was a question.
Public debate in this country has become little more than a shouting match, a pantomime of authority where those in power talk over each other while the real issues, our sovereignty, our economy, our national security, are lost in the noise. If you ever needed proof of how unserious our so-called leaders are, just look at this latest exchange. It wasn't a discussion. It wasn't even an argument in good faith. It was a desperate scramble to score cheap points, a performance that would be embarrassing in a local pub, let alone in the realm of national governance. Now, let's talk about the hypocrisy at play. One of the most infuriating aspects of this debacle is the sheer lack of self-awareness. She accused him of shouting over people, of being aggressive and unwilling to listen. Yet who was the one actually doing just that? Time and time again, we see this tactic. If you can't win the argument on merit, if your position is weak, what do? You shout louder. You drown out the opposition. You play the victim while simultaneously being the aggressor. And the worst part? They think we don't notice. But we do. And so did many viewers who reacted to this exchange with well-earned frustration. One user put it plainly, she was basically doing her best to shut him down. And that's exactly right. It wasn't about debate, it wasn't about facts, it wasn't even about governing. It was about silencing opposition, ensuring the only voice that gets heard is the one that fits the narrative. Another viewer echoed this sentiment, saying, "I thought the same as I watched. I had to remind myself, these idiots are in charge of our country and our safety. And that's the most terrifying part of all. These people aren't just bickering on a talk show for sport. They are the ones making decisions that impact all of us, and yet they conduct themselves like children squabbling in the playground." Then, of course, there was the blunt and honest reaction from another user. God help us. And really, what else is there to say? When you watch moments like this unfold, you can't help but feel a mix of embarrassment, anger, and deep concern for the future. If this is the state of leadership in Britain today, where does that leave us? Are we supposed to just sit back and accept that these are the people guiding us through one of the most challenging times in modern history? This isn't about left or right. It isn't about one party or another. It's about the fundamental lack of competence, the absence of any real leadership, and the complete disregard for the people they claim to represent. If they spent half as much time solving problems as they do arguing about them on television, maybe, just maybe, this country wouldn't be in the mess that it is. And that brings us to the real question. Where do we go from here? Do we just accept that this is the best we can hope for, that this is what political discourse has become? Or do we demand better? Because let's be clear, this kind of spectacle isn't inevitable. There was a time when politicians, whether you agreed with them or not, at least carried themselves with a sense of duty, a respect for the position they held. Now, they behave like reality TV contestants, more interested in scoring points and making headlines than actually governing. But let's not forget, they work for us. Not the other way around. It's easy to become cynical, to throw up our hands and say they're all the same, but that's exactly what they want. A disengaged public is a compliant public. If we stop expecting more, if we stop holding them accountable, then we guarantee that nothing will change. So, what do you think? Is this just another example of the sad state of British politics? Or is there still hope for something better? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to British Focus for more straight-talking analysis on the issues that really matter.